Shalom, shalom, Israel, shalom, Torah, Yashala, giving course all on the Lord and praise unto Yahweh, bless my shop, Mama like Yahweh Shah. It's all praises on the glorification unto the Most High God, Yahweh. In the name of His only begotten Son, Yahweh Shah, this is Brother Yashala, coming back, y'all, with yet another video through the Spirit and power, Yahweh, Baha, Shema, my shop, Mama like Yahweh Shah. All right, Lord willing, all Israel has been enduring through the Spirit. I'm going to get straight into this, right? Let's go to the book of John, chapter 13. All right, John, chapter 13. And verse 36, just a quick reminder about us basically saying Lord will and understanding that though we may want certain things to happen and we may think that certain things is going to happen without a shadow of a doubt, the Lord's will is going to be done and not ours. At the end of the day, what the Lord wants to happen, that's what's going to happen. Now, if it lines up with your will, then, that's cool. But again, the will of the Lord is going to stand at the end of the day, right? I'm going to go to that precept real quick to kick it off. Let's go to the book of Proverbs, right? Hold on. The counsel of the Lord, right? All right. It says, Salaki, let me pull it up. Proverbs 19 verse 21, it says, there are many devices in a man's heart. So there's many devices in a man's heart. The Lord even said that in the book of Sirach, chapter 37, verse 14, that a man's mind is sometimes wont to tell him more than 7 watchmen that sit above in a high tower. A man's mind is going to tell him 7 different things and many devices in a man's heart. Remember, a man's heart is talking about a man's mind. All right, and there's many things that a man might think about. Even pursuant to the book of Wisdom of Solomon. Let me get that real quick. I'm not going to pull it up on the screen. I'm going to get that in the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 9, verse 15. It says, for the corruptible body presses down the soul. So our corruptible body presses down our soul. It presses down our spirit. And that's just the warfare between the spirit and the flesh. All right. Pursuant to the book of Galatians, chapter 5 and verse 17 on down, we understand that there is a spiritual warfare. And there's a warfare between the flesh and the spirit. All right. It says, what? For the corruptible body presseth down the soul, and the earthly tabernacle weigheth down the mind that museth upon many things. So the mind and museth upon many things. All right. So the Lord said there are many devices in a man's heart. Nevertheless, the counsel of the Lord, that shall stand. So nevertheless, at the end of the day, the counsel and the thoughts and the will of the Lord is what's going to stand in that day. So going back to this in John chapter 13, verse 36, it says, Simon Peter said unto him, Lord, whither goest thou? Yahweh answered him, whither I go, thou canst not follow me now, but thou shalt follow me afterwards. Explain. Yahweh said, you can't follow me now, right? Verse 37. Peter said unto him, Lord, why cannot I follow thee now? I will lay down my life for thy sake. Yahweh said he was going to lay down his life for the sake of Yahweh. And let's go to the cross references in Matthew chapter 26, verse 33, right? This renders what? It says, Peter answered and said unto him, though all men shall be offended because of thee, yet will I never be offended. So Peter, all right, it's lucky. We understand the zeal that Peter had for the Lord. Peter had much zeal for the Lord, man. He had a lot of zeal and he had a lot of love for the Lord, And let's go to the book of John, all right, chapter 13. Kind of same chapter, but let's go to John chapter 13 and verse 6. It says, then cometh he to the Simon Peter, and Peter saith unto him, Lord, dost thou wash my feet? So Peter was like, Lord, why you washing my feet, man? I should be washing your feet. You're my master, right? That's the spirit that Peter had, right? Verse 7, Yahweh answered and said unto him, what I do thou knowest not now, but thou shalt know hereafter. Peter saith unto him, thou shalt never wash my feet. Yahweh answered him, if I wash thee not, thou hast no part with me. So Yahweh said, if I don't wash you, then you don't have any part with me, right? So guess what Peter did after? Verse 9, Simon Peter saith unto him, Lord, not my feet only, but also my hands and my head. So Peter was like, oh, shoot. if you don't wash me, I don't have any part with you. Hey, don't just wash my feet then. Wash my hands and my head. Wash my whole body, right? Because I never want to forsake the Lord. That's the spirit that Peter had. And that's a very zealous spirit, man. You know? But going down to this, remember, Peter, he kind of got a little bit too confident, you know, in his faith. And it wasn't until his faith was tried and it was tested that he folded. All right. And we're going to read about that. Matthew chapter 26, verse 33 says, Peter answered and said unto him, though all men shall be offended because of thee, yet will I never be offended. So Peter said, I'll never be offended in you, Lord. Well, guess what? Those that have read Matthew, Luke, John, Mark, we understand what happens, right? Verse 34, it says, Yahushua said unto him, verily I say unto thee, that this night before the cock crow, thou shalt deny me thrice. What did Peter say furthermore into this, right? Verse 35, it says, Peter said unto him, though I should die with thee, yet will I not deny thee. Likewise also said all the disciples. So they say, guess what? The disciples even said that. Hey, we're not going to not deny you, Lord. We're not. Never. Right? Never. So, but the thing is, when we go down, right? Let's go to the book of Matthew, chapter 26, and verse 55. It says, in that same hour said Yahushua to the multitudes, are ye come out as against a thief with swords and staves for to take me? I sat daily with you teaching in the temple, and ye laid no hold on me. But all this was done that the scriptures of the prophets might be fulfilled. Then all the disciples forsook him and fled. You see that? The disciples, they forsook the Lord, man, and denied the Lord, man, when he was being delivered up. You know? But we understand that it was written that it should be like that. You know? And when we go down to Matthew chapter 26, it says what? Right, Matthew chapter 26 and verse 69. It says, now Peter sat without in the palace, and a damsel came unto him, saying, thou also was with Yahushua of Galilee. But he denied before them all, saying, I know not what thou sayest. And when he was gone out into the porch, another maid saw him, and said unto him, them, Salaki, that were there, this fellow was also with Yahushua of Nazareth. And again he denied with an oath, I do not know the man. And after a while came unto him they that stood by, and said to Peter, surely thou also art one of them, for thy speech bewareth thee. Meaning, hey, you even talk like a Galilean. You talk like you from Nazareth. You talk like you from northern part of Israel. You surely was one of them. You know, you surely was with them, huh? That's what they said. Verse 74. Then began he to curse and to swear, saying, I know not the man. And immediately the cock crew. And Peter remembered the word of Yahushua, which said unto him, before the cock crow, thou shalt deny me thrice. And he went out and wept bitterly. So we understand that Peter, he got a little bit too confident and said that he's never going to forsake the Lord. He's never going to deny the Lord. And here we see Peter denying the Lord 3 times. Something that he thought that he would never do. So here's the thing, you know, and that's why James teaches us that we should say, if the Lord will, right? Let's go to the book of James, chapter 4 and verse 15. It says, for that ye ought to say, if the Lord will, we shall live and do this or that, right? So we ought to say, Lord will, because at the end of the day, we don't know what's going to happen in the future. You know what I'm saying? We can say, oh, certain people, and we don't even dare to say we're going to get the kingdom of heaven. We don't dare to say that we're of the elect. We say, Lord willing, man. You know, because we understand that, you know, at the end of the day, the Lord's will is going to be done. We don't want to deny the Lord. No brother wants to deny the Lord. You know, no brother wants to be destroyed in the lake of fire. No man wants to fold in the day of Jacob's trouble. No man wants to do that. But at the end of the day, we want to say, Lord willing. We want to pray and beg the Lord, man. You know what I'm saying? For mercy. Because it's up to him. He can make us do whatever pleaseth him. It's not about us. It's about the Most High's will and what he has written down. You know what I'm saying? On a spiritual level. About what he has written, you know, and what he has in store. Right? So it's not necessarily about what we want. Though we may want a certain thing, If the Lord doesn't want that to happen, it's not gonna happen. You know, it's just not. Right? And I'm gonna go back to this in John chapter what was I at? 13. Right? John chapter 13 and verse 38. It says, Yahushua answered him, Wilt thou lay down thy life for my sake? Verily, verily, I say unto thee, the cock shall not crow till thou hast denied me thrice. You see that? And that happened, man. But here's the thing, though we want to be confident, guess what? On the flip side, Peter's confidence was good. He was confident. And we should want to have that confidence. But we also want to, on the flip side, be humble at all times and understand that it's the will of the Lord. You know what I'm saying? It's the will of the Lord. Even Peter, it's like Paul, he said that he wanted to go to Spain. But before he could go to Spain, he actually died. So he wasn't able to go to Spain, although he said that he wanted to. Right? Let's get that precept real quick. He said, whensoever I take my journey in Spain. Romans chapter 15, verse 24. Whensoever I take my journey into Spain, I will come to you, for I trust to see you in my journey, and to be brought on my way thitherward by you. At first I be somewhat filled with your company. So Paul said he wanted to go to Spain, but did he get that chance? Nah, he was martyred before. He could have gone journeyed to Spain, though he journeyed to a lot of places within the Roman the Greco-Roman Empire, visiting provinces and places and cities. He wasn't able to go to Spain. So that's just an example of Paul, he wanting to and planning certain things out, but it didn't work like how he wanted to. Does that mean that we're unrighteous? Not necessarily. It just means that the Lord didn't want certain things to happen and to transpire in our life for one reason or for another. Paul teaches through the Spirit. Paul teaches us through the Spirit in Romans 8, verse 28 says, and we know that all things work together for good to them that love the Most High, to them who are called according to his purpose. So we understand that all things work together for good to those that love the Most High. And for the elect, all things work together for good. So if certain things will happen, and if certain things do happen to the elect, that's for their benefit, And that all leads them up to getting the kingdom of heaven, And I wanted to get this last precept. Paul even saying, if the Lord will, right? Let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 4 and verse number 18. It says, now some are puffed up as though I would not come to you, but I will come to you shortly, if the Lord will, and will know, not the speech of them which are puffed up, but the power. So Paul said, but I will come to you shortly, if the Lord will, because he understood that he may not come to them. Something may happen, right? Or plans might change or whatever. So that's why he said, if the Lord will, So with that, all praise to Yahweh. Remember, everything's written for our learning, as Paul talks about in the book of Romans chapter 15, verse 4. So we ought to learn from these things that the Lord has written down for us on the spiritual level. Romans chapter 15, verse 4. For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope. So all these things are written for our learning, that we can understand and actually learn from certain mistakes that our forefathers have made through the Spirit. So all praises to Yahweh, Shema Masha, Woman like Yahweh. Lord willing, this is edifying. Brother Yashala. Shalom.